I know it happens as a breaking point. Like they've lost themselves so much that one day they're like, hey, here's your kid. I'm off for a month. I'll see you later.
Hi, I'm Vandy. Welcome to the Inside Out show where we learn that being attractive isn't just about skincare or trends, it's about knowing who you are and loving yourself. Here is what blew my mind about today's conversation with Tamanna. She explained how your inner self and your outer self have a relationship like a loving parent to a child, and how it transforms everything: your presence, your confidence, and even how you choose to show up in the world. So let's dive into this conversation about reclaiming your authentic presence and designing a life that truly feels like yours. Welcome to the Inside Out show.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes, it's amazing. Thank you for really just, you know, hey Tamanna, would you like to? And you're like, yeah, I'm in. And that is such a cool attitude, and to support any person doing something new. It's like really, really cool and so
Yeah,
easy.
but it also really spoke to me. I think, somewhere, whether we are aware of it or not, I think somewhere it's a part of all of our journeys. So I'm glad to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. And for those who don't know Tamanna, Tamanna is like a mom. She's been doing like superpower stuff, and she's been doing so many amazing. She's an actor. I mean, she is promoting brands. She is, supporting other moms. I just saw your speech. You're part of a conference talking about, lifting up other moms. And yeah, tell me a little bit about that, though. I was so
No, I
curious.
do. So I keep getting invited for a bunch of conferences around which are communities specifically that talk to moms, and I see where the need comes from because I think somewhere in the journey when we prioritize our kids, sometimes as moms we tend to forget our own journey, and there is a balance. And I think somewhere it's not just that we forget, um, the world around us tells us that this is your role, this is your identity. And even if there's this nagging feeling that I'm meant for more, there is more to my life, just there's also this other noise that keeps filtering through. So I think I see a lot of moms who kind of forget that part of themselves that they were before they had a child. And that part is always going to be there, but it's up to you to nurture it, to make sure that it stays. Because the more you kind of let go of that, let go of you in the process, the more unhappy you are. And I can tell you this, that if you're unhappy as a parent, it is definitely outplaying somewhere in your relationship with your child. You might, like, people think that, okay, by doing this, I'm becoming a better mother. I'm not, taking holidays anymore by myself. So I'm now devoting all my time and attention. I actually tell my son this, like when I go on solo trips, I tell him that's for mama to become a better version of mama.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, it is so true. It's so true. It,
Yeah, and I mean it because that's the moments that I find myself. I think that's from where, you can't pour out of an empty bucket. I
yeah,
think that realization is still especially in the Indian landscape. I think in the Indian landscape because it's just so glamorized,
yeah.
the idea of being the mother who's sacrificing, and that's what we saw our moms do, right?
I think all of our moms, like, that's it, they're mom, and you can't imagine even, what they were before till you see their old pictures and like, oh my God, you're hot.
So, and I see this often. Like a lot of our moms are like, "Oh, you can get back into your shape." I didn't even know that. Like the other day, a friend of mine, and she's an actor. And she walks up to me and she's like, "You won't remember me, but I met you outside this club, and you were coming out. We were all having lunch, and I saw you, and somebody introduced us and said you had a kid who was a couple of years old, and I was like." Oh, she was like, you didn't know I was pregnant at that time, and I was like, I remember you, and she's like, when I saw you, I was just like reaffirmed that you can have a baby and look fitter, and I think there's just this idea that our attitude of what is a possibility comes from the environment around us.
Yeah.
Like if you think this is possible for you, it becomes a limitation that has become sort of like your own threshold,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And that's actually perfect because when you just kind of unconsciously perceive this kind of, it's something you can't really break through, and you're like, okay, I'm fine. It's not, it's good because you've got a kid and you're happy, and everything is happening, and people are like, oh, you're a mom, and that
Hmm.
it just goes on. But yeah, it's perfect. You don't see the possibilities beyond that, especially in our Indian environment. Like uh, now, much more than before. At least women are doing much more now than before.
Yeah.
Before it was just, okay, that's it. Mom life, give up work, give up everything, actually, give up their hopes and dreams. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And you were a good mom if you did that. You were the sacrificing mom is the mom who is,
Yeah, yeah.
the Indian stereotype is pretty strong on that one.
Yeah, but what do you think about the other side of it? Like, for those mom who just take their time and they're like, I'm going hiking by myself. I'm going to go do this for some time. On the other side, for moms who do that, uh, have you seen, like, in your conferences, in your conversations, people struggling with that? Or have you seen anything that,
They don't from most people I meet, they don't think it's a possibility to have any bits of your old identity when you have a kid. They don't think it's possible.
oh, wow.
And when it does happen from people I know, it happens as a breaking point. Like they've lost themselves so much that one day they're like, hey, here's your kid. I'm off for a month. I'll see you later.
How was it for you, like after you became a mom? Because I remember, I mean, we met. I don't even know. I think you guys were the first people I met in Bangalore. Like, you and the scene that we were in, and that was what,
Um,
really 17, 18 years ago.
Yeah, pretty long back. Yeah. So I think I was always wanting to be a mom. I
Yeah.
always wanted to be a mom. And when I think the only thing that I would say is that I set very high standards for myself. I was a struggling perfectionist when I had my son. I wanted things a certain way. And so that self pressure that I put, that was not coming for me from society, from my parents, from anyone else, was hard. Like if I had to, for example, if I had decided that I'm going to have a natural birth, letting it become so big that I'm dying there in pain, but not willing to take an epidural. So, yeah, yay. And
Me
who's
too,
going to
me
come and
too.
give me, somebody's going to come and give me brownie points for putting myself through, um, sheer,
I'm
like,
gonna give you 10,000 brownie points because that's something even I wanted. So,
yeah, but I feel like the pressure that I put on myself for 18 hours of labor and the intensity of pain that I endured without considering my options with epidural, because I was so set that this is the kind of mom I'm going to be. Feed him for 15 months, natural birth, no nanny for the first few years because I don't want any him picking up any stray habits and everything.
yeah,
Was not for me coming from the world outside of me, was not a pressure that somebody had set on me, was not even something I'd seen like my mom or someone do, but it was just a lot self-induced from the idea of being perfect,
yeah.
you know.
So,
Yeah. But I mean, on the plus side, I was really happy not giving a lot of time to work and being with him. And I think that's one balance that I still um work with. Like I have a week or 10 days in a month that I'm really busy,
mhm,
but the rest of my time I make sure like, when he's back from school, I'm here.
yeah,
I'm there to drop him to school. I'm there through most of his days and doing a lot of time together on weekends and stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really nice. And I think when people just think about it, like even for you, even though you feel like you were hard on yourself, but it
Mm.
kind of pushed you to keep yourself happy, I think, because I can see you.
Yeah, but I think somewhere where some people struggle with it is the idea of a reward at the end of it. Like, I'm very clear. I want to spend time with my son because I am greedy. Because I want that. I am not doing it for him. I'm not doing it so he grows up to have memories with me, or he grows up remembering his mama was a good mama. Like, I'm not doing it for outside validation. I'm doing it because I'm greedy. So as long as people are aware where their, the urge to do the things they do comes from, I think that's more important, because I can just make this seem like I'm the perfect mom because I dedicate so much time to him. No, I mean I do, uh, but it's more because I wish every time I'm really busy, I just every time I'm just like, I wish I have more time with him. That's me.
Yeah.
It's not him. So yeah.
Any excuse is a good excuse to spend time with your kid. I mean, frankly, it's they stay small only that long. So, how do you feel like, your body went through changes, um how was that for you? Like after you became a mom and then you were, I mean, you still are a mom. It's not like you became a mom and now you're not. But how was that? Because your body goes through so much of change.
I think the idea that, and I see young moms being on either extreme. One is giving up because now the baby's here and we don't have time for myself, and not making themselves a priority at all. And the other are a set of moms who are in the gym and working out literally 2 months after they have a kid. And I think there is the art of balance is sort of understanding your body has gone through so much that, I put zero pressure on myself. I was in no rush to lose the weight. I was in no rush to get back in shape. And it happens, and eventually when you wean the child off, you have to find your good habits back. And the good thing was I was working out before I had him.
Yeah, yeah,
So even though I didn't take go to working out afterwards and for a while, my body did kind of start to fall back into shape um, much easier. And I think the idea that you have to, sort of learn how to take out time for yourself a little bit.
yeah,
Like for me, I couldn't really go to workout right after I had him. Like when I would generally be in the space of thinking of working out was because of the pandemic.
yeah, yeah,
So I wasn't really actively thinking of exercise and workout and, getting in shape. But I was very aware that that's a journey that I didn't want under pressure. I think one of the things that I've just been very okay with is time.
yeah, yeah,
Not feeling the pressure of, oh my God, I'm turning 30, this is my checklist, or oh my God, now I become a mom, so now I need to get back in shape, and this is 1 year, and I'm going to give myself this year.
yeah,
I'm just like, when just I think I have too much faith and belief. I just believe that things are going to work out, and the time I feel like is a construct that I want it to be in my way. Like if I'm working towards something and you say, I'm working on this project and this is setting a deadline for yourself is different, but kind of forcing things to go your way in a way that doesn't honor. And I think, especially after childbirth, not honoring what your body has been through, the hormones, the shift, the it needs a little bit of that weight to sustain um, all the stress that it went through,
yeah,
and just trying to sort of punish yourself. I feel like that. I feel like there's this almost this attitude of I need to, and if I don't, I'm never going to get back in shape.
yeah,
No, there's either this extreme of women who don't want to do and have given up, or the ones who are like literally beating themselves on themselves so hard. So for me, I was very, very content with the whole journey. Like I was at any of the phase, except I think when he wasn't sleeping at night. I think I did. And I could do, I was like, please, God, when will this get over? When will I get to sleep like one night? I think except that phase, I think all everything else I've just been so patient and
yeah.
calm with.
That's really nice because that's the that's the conversation I really want to have about the mental fitness. And I think there was one online TV show or something like that I did like some time back, and I was like, I want to be the pioneer who gets this idea of mental fitness out. And you're kind of the example of it because you didn't let yourself come to that breaking point.
Yeah.
And it was kind of your, and frankly, it I think would be really good if women could take away that particular. Uh,
I don't think it's because I didn't come to that breaking point. It's because I had my breaking point when I was 16. So I had anxiety, I had panic attacks, I was on medication, I was in therapy. So starting out young is the reason why I have it has helped me stay grounded. It has helped me relate to things differently. Um, it's not, I think the breaking point just came too early. I think
so no need to re-break.
yeah, so my habits and stuff that I do to keep myself going good mentally, like whether it's my sleep, workout routine, doing the little things I do for myself, are actually not a result of growth or journey, but they are definitely a result of the pain and the remembrance of what it was to be in that space. Literally, what I would say, like a hellhole.
Yeah,
And knowing that, and even now, like if I sort of wean off all of these support, like if I'm not getting my sunlight and if I'm not getting my exercise and if I'm not taking care of, some amount of healthy diet, like if I'm eating junk, which is not nourishing my body and not literally doing, not meditating. And if I do all of these at once, and I did try a couple of years ago, I was just like, let me stop everything for a while and see how it goes. And seriously, it didn't feel good. I just didn't it was such a strong reminder of, you know, it's not those things aren't just beneficial for some people,
yeah,
the science-led benefits. But I have to tell you, when I knew about meditation when I was 16,
yeah,
and I did it only as far as it was needed, and I didn't really look into sticking to it. The sticking to it bit has come with experience.
yeah,
The sticking to things, the sticking to the habits that have nurtured me, or finding even more things that align with me when it comes to my values or my health, or things that would help me become even better with my mind and mental health. Sticking to it bit has some is something that I've learned, by understanding that it's not just something that life can go on, but I don't want life to go on. I want to have the best experience of that.
yeah. That's yeah. You're literally talking about thriving instead of just surviving, and
Yeah.
that's the big difference. I think that's a big difference. Uh,
So yeah, that's the survival mode when you're just ticking off the check boxes and doing what you're supposed to for
yeah,
other people
yeah,
versus what you want to, do to nourish yourself.
yeah, yeah. Do you feel like that's the truth that you could even help other women realize?
I think the journey for everyone is so different. I know for some people it is going through those falls so many times, like they stumble so many times, and they wake up one day and then they're like, okay, wait, this is where I've been wrong all along. While ago, I realized that people, when they start their journey, the tools are plenty.
Mm,
It's like when that window opens for them of awareness, of realizing that maybe they've lost themselves somewhere, maybe they have to start this journey of finding themselves, or whatever, wherever they once that awareness happens, there's no stopping.
yeah,
The tools are so many, from books to podcasts to, when you start, it's literally life changing, and then you see everything that you might have seen before also differently. So,
yeah,
um, but I realize for a lot of people, they're not they've not started, so they aren't aware. They haven't figured that there's something broken or there's something wrong with the way they have been operating in the survival mode. And I think for that, for a woman can happen at so many stages. It could be, you know, in uh, whether she's still in her school, college, not yet married days, or after marriage or after a kid. And I think the idea that you need to go through something which is disastrously painful to have that experience is not true. I think sometimes it can just be something small that clicks for you, and you're like, okay, wait, I need to explore this more, learn more, and sort of work on certain areas of my life. So I think I want to be, I want to sort of have that peekaboo sort of, just provide enough peaks that kind of just make people curious. I think the idea that I'm getting at is not throwing knowledge, but just planting the seeds of curiosity, or just like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I love that idea because it's so much fun. And I think that's really nice if people could approach, um, I don't want to say mental health has a bad reputation, but uh, it does come with some kind of
Yeah.
um, heaviness to it. And I love the way that you said it, that you could plant little, plant it as curiosity and fun elements. What I want to get into a deeper conversation is just the way you look is a whole story in itself, because you looking today the way you do, you're bringing it for a conversation. You were busy earlier, you are like occupied, but you're still looking good. But you're looking relaxed. You don't look like you got 10 kilos of makeup. You just look great because I think you're, like you said, time, you're giving yourself the time, you're giving
Yeah.
yourself the opportunity of just kind of relaxing into it. And I think that could be a great invitation for people also to kind of relax into themselves and re-find all these fun elements. I
But
don't
I think that's the way that I would look at makeover as well. Like, it's not just sort of, it's about finding bits of you
know.
that relate to how you can sort of look. And be- because if you're trying too hard, it won't look natural, and it won't look real, and it won't feel real at the end of the day. But knowing your why, I think, really is my North Star. Like, I know why I look the way I do, or why I make effort to dress the way I do, or why I want to look together, put together a certain way. Like, I have my why very clear, my North Star is very clear for me. So I think sort of having this journey for people, like when they're looking at having a transformation, and the idea of it being inside out.
Yeah.
I think when you're aware of your why, your reason for doing what you're doing, and you find that sort of value alignment, um, not just with the things that you do, but also in how you present yourself, it's just such a clarifier.
Yeah. Have you felt like I mean, I know you're doing it, so I don't know if I know you're consciously doing a bunch of stuff, and seeing you over these years. I do have a little advantage of having seen you over the years.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
yeah,
uh,
literally.
literally.
Yeah, yeah.
How would you encourage people to kind of nudge them into, like, hey, wanna talk about this, or that could, what is your kind of little secret?
So, my lifelong philosophy is, if somebody doesn't ask you for help in a very direct, pointed way, it's not your place to give it. So I usually refrain from any individual or a one-on-one person self-help, unless, see, if I see a strap out of a place, or somebody's lipstick getting, I'm always the person being like, hey, your lipstick's on your teeth, like, maybe you want to clean that up, but never the person telling them what they could do to be or to look better, because I'm very conscious and aware of the fact that women have, and especially women, have very deep-rooted insecurities. And sometimes somebody's well-meaning advice could offset something for them that actually does not help them see that as, okay, if I do this, I will look better. But versus, hey, this is a flaw in me. And I feel like intrinsically, the belief that we are whole to start with, whoever you are, as you are, with your lack of confidence, with um, the hair that you have, that you were born with, or that you have kind of gotten to a degree where that looks a certain way, or with that foundation that doesn't match your skin tone, or with outfits that don't work for your body type, you are still whole. And to find that when people feel the connection with their self-worth within. And I think this is where it's for me, the conversation takes a little bit of a deeper turn. Does not come from me telling people what to do. It comes from me being the best version of myself. Because you inspire people by just being yourself authentically. And I think somewhere where when I see people and I see them as whole, I think somewhere in that wholeness, and when they recognize that for themselves. So if I had to have a conversation with someone and I did see something, the place where I would speak up is if a woman referred to herself in a way that was below her power, below her level of self-worth. That was not a sign that this person is coming from a place of self-love or self-worth. And I would say you need to examine these relationships, because honestly, the outside is just going to be a band-aid on a fracture till you heal that bit, till you heal. And for me, I tell them how this works for me, because I feel like for everyone it can work a different way.
Yeah.
Is that we all have this question without knowing, um, is who am I in relationship to the universe, and do I matter? And for everyone, that journey of finding out that is going to be their own.
Yeah.
If they feel like they don't matter, you will see it reflect in their clothes, reflect it in their conversation, reflect it in the way they treat themselves. And for me, that journey is something that I just happened with years of meditation. So where my sense of self-worth, my love for myself comes from this experience of my own like wholeness.
Yeah.
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 And you can't you and I think that when you look at people as whole, they are more capable of change
Yeah.
than looking at them as something that's incomplete and that needs fixing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
maybe somewhere that for me also comes from having dealt with my own inner perfectionism, that there was always something that could be better, that could be you know, a little always a little more.
mm,
I think the idea that you are whole and you are that experience of understanding, like how, and I would definitely struggle with words for it, because you can keep saying self-love, but until you have the concept of your energy being and your physical being
yeah.
as two aspects of you, and the energy being as someone who is timeless, ageless, and the physical being that's the more finite self of you. And you develop the relationship that a parent has to their child with these two selves.
Yeah.
It's the number one life-changing experience, but also something that really propels things to work for you in a different way, because all your life choices, from that guy that you know is toxic for you, or the makeup or the clothes or everything else, is not so. I literally think, and this is as funny as it may sound, I'm like, I'm taking my human out. I
Yeah.
get to dress her up.
It's true. It's
I get to I get to dress her up. I get to do a bunch of things. What do I want to do today? And how do I want to be perceived today? It's not from the idea of I want to be looked at as this version, or I want to feel this certain feeling. That feeling is already there.
yeah.
The feeling that somebody wants to achieve by looking a certain way, when you have found that wholeness within you, you're not seeking things from a place of lack. You're seeking things from a place of fun. You're seeking things from a place of alignment. You're seeking things from a place of like And I do this. Like I'm like, okay, yeah, either ways, if I'm human in my temporary experience and I'm out having fun, how do I want people to see me today? Maybe some more sparkles, you know. The world's not enough. Like I like the version of me earlier. Like I would dress. I loved always dressing, but I would go. Maybe this is too much. Maybe I don't want to do sequins. I never wore sequins, but now I'm just like, you know. One life experience, one life expression. Throw in little more sparkles there. Who's
Story
who's
of
just
my life. Story of my life. Just a little glitter, and and you're fine. You're great, and I actually noticed that about you, and because we have seen each other also socially over the years, and yes, you were always very well dressed, and of course, you very well dressed and very composed and fun. But lately, from what I have seen lately, yeah, it's like you are kind of bringing your inner sparkle out literally on your clothes.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally on your clothes. And um uh how can I say this?
For me, I will when I look back and you asked me that question, I think a lot of people would say this is that in that conversation that they would have had with me, and I think people bring to you people who are aligned a certain way, is that they would have had this one moment of just aha, not from any advice giving, mostly from me sharing my own journey, whether it's on the stage or in person. And that one moment of aha, if I had a choice, it would be for everyone to just sort of have an understanding of who they are in relationship to this universe and stop moving in cycles of sort of getting caught up in the tangibles.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
if I had to, like, if I had like one thing that I would uh, just want everyone to know is how deeply loved and how worthy they are in just as who they are. I
As
think that's yeah. I
yeah,
think that's a true game changer.
that's a true bestie.
Yeah, and to stop seeking or doing things for validation for anything, for literally for anyone else or for uh, you know, anything else.
What would your advice be, like, if you want somebody, anyone, male or female, frankly? Because I think men also struggle with a lot of
It,
stuff.
yeah.
And, it doesn't get talked enough, I feel sometimes, and I feel like um, you know, not getting too much into that, but yeah, I do feel like there are a lot of conversation even men are not allowed to have. Uh, more sensitivity, the way they look, the way they show up. What would your advice be for any person wanting to kind of improve their presence? Like, what is your like advice?
Um, so the inside out approach on this.
Yeah, thank you.
I do I like if there is no while there is no quick fix it method. Starting from the outside, I think a great differentiator is great body language. Because when you fix your physical presence and with your body language, with the words that you use, with how you present yourself, makes a huge difference. Um, but if I mean, I've even with people that I've worked with confidence on, I always say take out some time that you spend with yourself. That work that you do around manifestation, whatever it is, to have a little bit of that side going because we don't do enough for the connection with our inner being. But when you truly recognize the power that you have and truly sit in that sense of self-worth and wholeness, which all your life you have somehow been denied, whether it's through the feeling of being incomplete with who you were as a kid and your parents made you feel that way. Maybe it was being bullied in school. Maybe it was peer pressure, maybe it was just your personality and you were just so nice, and then everyone was, um, you were getting influenced all the time with everyone. So from wherever that comes from, I think the idea of wholeness for a lot of people is just strange at first, because that's I do feel like it is the design of life, maybe. It's the idea of losing some parts to gain this awareness later. Uh, but that's I think that's the, you can do some of these things can happen really fast. Like I worked with someone very recently on confidence overall. And this person comes from an amazing background, born to very loving parents, but very shy, very quiet. She wanted to be a model in the US, and she was already getting scouted. She was living there, she was getting scouted by agencies. But the biggest lack that she felt was her level of confidence with what she brought to the camera, but also in person. And I think that's the approach that I had suggested to her, and that's what I would do with everyone, is that you can sort of train a little bit on camera presence. Even if you're not in that line, just being aware, like just putting on your camera and just sitting in front of it and seeing how's your posture, how are your facial expressions, how's your language, sort of brings a lot of awareness. Working on these aspects of you also can really change things. You can bring about an actual transformation that's visible in a short period. But I think, and I would stand by this, the biggest game changer is that inner connection that you have with yourself. And when you heal that sense of self-worth and you figure out the reasons what drive you, why you are the way you are, instead of just that sort of slapping on the makeup and putting on the clothes, it kind of just drives you to be that version authentically. And I think the difference would be the person who is wanting that validation, um, and sort of getting excessive cosmetic procedures, who is getting you know, wearing clothes that are not just loud but too loud because they're seeking that validation, versus someone who is owning that room with that quiet confidence, and just you don't need too much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think when you experience that feeling of wholeness is when you don't you realize that you don't need much to feel a certain way, and you don't do anything to chase that feeling. Like you said, like you gave example of that lady who came to you, you're just like, yeah, I feel good as I am. Yeah, I don't need anything else.
Still remains the most stunning example of any of the makeovers we have done, because yeah, of the conversation as well. I think that one was kind of the one who surprised me the most. But I think how you said it was perfect, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, from the inside, your advice on the inside would be just get clear as to why you're doing something, and outside you can just have things that could just give you like instant confidence, almost like a espresso, like
Yeah.
espresso. And you just like wear something or just sit up straight, your posture, just speak nicely. If you're feeling anxious, I think this is something even I talk about, and I can kind of completely resonate with you. And some videos that you can just have one thing you can do as a conversation starter, as a like a if you're feeling little shy or self-conscious, um, it could just be something you could do, and people will start talking to you about that and then that people are going to talk about that, so you are less stressed. So it's kind of, you kind of hit the nail on the head. And especially with this girl who was shy, I think, what did you find was at the heart of her shyness? If you could pinpoint one thing, what was at the heart of her shyness? Because I know there are a lot of people that are struggling with very similar things, but they'll never say it.
I'll share this more from my experience as a mom than from my experience with a client. is I think somewhere when we are kids and we aren't given a voice,
Yeah.
we are in rooms where we are told that we don't matter.
Right.
And we learn to mute ourselves and not be seen and not be heard. Or, not just having that room to just be free and say something with the fear of what if I say something wrong,
Yeah.
you know? Just giving a child that space where the child knows that they are heard, they matter, their feelings matter. Um, and I think somewhere along with that, there's this very important feeling that they're going to be protected. Like if Z knows that if somebody came and at him in any way, he has a mom who's going to be a warrior, like
Yeah.
who is who is not going to just sit in the sidelines. But I think, and I'm going to say this, one is just being knowing as a child that you are allowed to express yourself and that you matter was not happening. And secondly, and I feel this with so many friends that I've seen, is that because of the conditioning that went on in our society for so long, our mothers didn't have a voice. So if something was happening, we knew that maybe I don't know even if I can tell my mom. If I do, what is she going to do? She might scold me because she can't take care of the problem. So that kind of tells you to kind of tone down,
Yes.
also emotionally hold back, also. So this feeling that you can be loud and you will be taken care of is something that happens more at childhood level than sort of symptomatically looking at the issue as a lack of confidence. I
Yeah.
would say what stopped you from being the way you were,
Yeah.
or what didn't make you feel confident enough that if you allowed yourself to be that version, or if something happened which was wrong in your life, that you would be taken care of. And I would say this, and I've seen this, and some of this even from my own house, like, mom loved me, but I knew at the core that if I landed up in any issue, that she was this feeling that maybe she won't be strong enough,
Yeah.
that she will not be protecting me,
Yeah.
you know. And I could see that in the dynamics she had with my dad. I could see that in different areas of life. And I think that's why it's very important, as women to be even stronger and as mothers to be even more, because your strength becomes their own
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah. I think is that something that also pushed you to have the crisis that you had at the age of 16? Was that something that?
Definitely added to it, because at when what I went through in school was years of bullying, and I never opened up to my mom about it because she could see that I was unhappy, and I think somewhere she didn't have the courage or the strength, or she didn't think of asking enough, and I didn't feel like she would take care of the issue. Instead, I was pretty sure that it was going to back out on me. Um, but I think this feeling of having a parent who makes you feel like they got your back, and alongside this feeling of they are fighting this fight for you. So if something goes wrong, they are gonna be, there to swoop in and take care of things. Just that feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not somebody actually doing it, but just knowing that they got your back, knowing if something went wrong, they would be there to catch you.
Yeah.
I think comes first from home. And now that, I mean, when you do the inner work and do the healing and find your spiritual side, I have that faith with the universe today that I'll be caught when I fall. And they do say this, that your dynamics with your parents is actually a reflection of the dynamics that you'll have with the universe, because if you don't have faith in your parents, it's very hard to have faith in the universe, because they are the physical, actual, literal aspects of the universe in this world. But if your parent makes you feel like there's lack or there's not abundance, you can't sit here and manifest today as an adult, because you grew up in an environment that told you that was not a possibility, you
Yeah.
know. So and so many of our parents did, money doesn't grow on trees, and every single line and script that could be heard with when it came to abundance. It's such because we were even just the way we were, like, for I know who I was as a child and who I was as an adult. This feeling that I was entitled was
Yeah.
something that was constantly spoken about. You are entitled. You have no idea where we come from because we sat and studied under the footpath, light lamps. You have electricity, so you are entitled. I'm like,
Oh my God, story of my life. Like my mom especially, like,
yeah, so
she
you,
had
I
no
mean, I
allowance.
grew up feeling like a burden on my parents, which was, which is how they made it was a construct that they had to make you feel this way.
Yeah,
Because what if you grow up ungrateful?
yeah, yeah. It's like forced gratitude.
No, but the idea of gratitude was not, be mindful of your abundance. See the kids who don't have enough. The idea of abundance was that you're ungrateful because you don't see the basics that you have. So you're like, okay, now can I even think of having more in this life from this universe? Oh my God, my life is so blessed already. Like I have no, no. So I do think in so many ways, whether it comes to your relationship with money, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with the universe, a lot of it is outplayed by the f- the emotions that you had with your parents, and that the dynamics repeat. And until you heal that relationship with yourself, I would say until you go from the holes that your childhood leave in you to feeling whole,
Yeah.
um,
Wow,
you don't really
I
you
love,
don't really cause any real transformation.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So amazing because yeah, that's exactly what it is. If you can fill your own whatever the hole that is there within you and you work on that, that already gives you this kind of it's like you go, it's like a catapult, like we had those catapults, right? You kind of go backwards and then you go forwards, but you don't go backwards. You can just reflect on it as you go inwards, and then you go so much further at a totally different speed. And maybe we should do another conversation about abundance and parents and threats. All you parents tell people you can be abundant if you just don't listen to how entitled you were. What did mommy
Yeah, that
say? Whole new workshop.
I do think there are workshops that are titled Reparenting Yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if they cover things like this, but I mean, ideally they should, because the idea of successful adulting is reparenting yourself.
Yeah.
And then at no point am I the parent who's thinking that going to do things right. I'm just like, I'm going to create my own trauma. It's not going to be the same one because I unpacked that.
Gonna
But
need therapy for something else.
but I think the idea that we're going to create a perfect little universe for now, we're just going to create a different kind of
Therapy requirement.
a different kind of trauma for our little ones, because
Oh,
at least it won't be the generational baggage. I mean, that's the upside. But I think the entitlement that, now that I'm healed, my child is going to grow up to be perfect and not have to deal with any of the things that I dealt with, is just sort of the blame mindset, right? Like, my parents did it wrong, so I'm going to do it right and prove them wrong. No.
check it. That goes smooth. Smooth. It's just more therapy. We must have this abundance conversation one more time. Whole,
Forced contentment.
yeah.
Yeah, my dad did have a photo of a kid in an orphanage. He used to make me aware of it like all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Luckily, it's a funny thing, but since I'm adopted, my parents didn't go there. It was really
Oh,
funny. Yeah.
oh.
But it's kind of funny because then I would have, so this is something there's another workshop I do for children who who have been adopted and have so much difficulty, kind of, not so much difficulty, it's just that it kind of is in your space. Like do I fit in? That question, it's like you're born with two
But
questions.
also, it's a different kind of the wounding, like, right? There's a different kind of self-worth issue because then your true parents, this feeling of why was I not wanted?
Yeah. I,
You know, this, and then I don't know if there's a sort of one-step cure for that, like even finding a loving family,
yeah.
but that feeling of sort of abandonment of the one that birthed.
It's very interesting, Tamanna, that you say that because it's a topic that's very close to my heart, especially being adopted. And luckily for me, I had like really amazing parents, and they told me about it like right from the beginning. So it was nothing I found out or anything like that scandalous. Uh, but I think it's a you're talking about fitting in and you're talking about abandonment. it I feel like these are patterns that you do see that I, I don't know if I can't say I've fully healed, or but I would certainly use my tools in case there are issues I would feel of abandonment. And of course, trying to fit in. You're always trying to fit in, and you always find some differences between you and others. And this is a lovely topic. Maybe at another time we could discuss. But yeah, I think it's challenges people go through trying to fit in to the society and fit in. And um, I think there is so much scope of conversation there. I think
Yeah.
another yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a whole different struggle. But I think it's still the same struggle that people do go through of fitting in. One
Yeah.
could be
But
biological.
I think all of those, that's, I mean, there's nothing that's a one-stop solution, but I do feel like finding your own sense of self-worth and realizing that, external validation of fitting in is just you chasing it through that right handbag or through the, right kind of clothes and being aware of it versus, I mean, like I don't dress the way I do to fit in. I dress the way I do to take my human out for another joyride. I mean, I wore the clothes I thought I was wearing to fit in, but now I'm on a joyride, so it's much better. It's more fun.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I think yeah, till I'm not sure if a child were to feel like totally whole in the environment, why would they ever want to fit in? I think we don't celebrate their uniqueness enough or just allow them to be them without wanting them to be like other people. So recently, and I know we're kind of overshooting on the time here,
Yeah, I
my
just
son was going through this interesting challenge at school. Like one day I told him, you're outgrowing these shorts that have buttons, but I've hardly seen you wearing them. He said they're not allowed in school. I said, are they not allowed or you don't want to wear them? He's like, no, I don't want to wear them. And then he said, in the grade before, in his first grade, some kid made fun of him one day when he wore button shirts and said, is it your birthday? And he laughed. And he said, he mocked me. He said, is it my birthday? He just didn't. So I said, see, you have to outgrow that. So are you gay? And after he said he'll do it, we dressed him up in the button shirt, and as he reached the school gate, he cried. And he hugged me and he cried for 15 minutes like he was in LKG or the first time I sent him to a play school. Like he cried like that. He didn't want to go to school. He was just so aware that he was dressed differently. So their school allows a civil uniform. So their school believes actually in embracing individuality by not having a uniform code.
That's really cool.
But on the hindsight, like this is what was happening. So he did go to school, and then when he came back, he was like, nobody made fun of me, and I was fine. But I still wore a jacket above it, and I was like, take your time, do it at your own pace. And so he would take it off for some time, the jacket, and then he would wear it back into a point where he was like, Mom, now I'm fine, now I can do this, and I really don't care. And I think the idea that sort of embracing that uniqueness and letting him know that he didn't have to fit in and and I think I did that in so many ways. I said, like, no, I may not dress like other mamas in school, so should I feel bad now? Like, is it okay that I dress like this? And sometimes I go straight from work to pick him up. So I am dressed very differently than the other moms there. And but we have always had this ritual. So at night we sit down and just at bedtime, and you turn off the lights, we speak for a while. And I think that really helps in sort of having open, naked discussions that he might be scared to, or that he might have not had with me. But I think this, imagine he's just 7. He
Yeah.
has not even learned the idea of fitting in, but already just this one kid who made fun of him kind of had its sort of effect, and he would have, I mean,
Yeah.
I do know that he would have carried it
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
if I had not figured it out. If this conversation wouldn't have happened, he would just sort of, it would have become a part of his personality.
Yeah, I think that's what, like, a child needs, a young adult needs, uh, an adult needs this kind of like you feel it, especially when a child is crying, or even if a adult who has got the child crying, it's really hard to it's really hard to watch. But at the same time, you chose to give him strength, so that's really cool. And
Mhm.
and the word maybe you were looking for earlier was moral support, and you just gave him that moral support, and I think that's just stellar.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing my first workshop for kids, maybe in a couple of weeks now, I think. Uh,
lovely.
So interesting for me too, because I've never done it before.
Mm. Wish you best of luck and really wish you all the best for everything that you're creating. That's so amazing. I would love at some other point maybe have a conversation. Anything that you feel like talking about, it would be lovely. Thank you for really having this conversation, because I feel like uh, you've said so many things that matter, and it's so truthful because you kind of found your own why, and you found your own how, and your why and your how, and then you just put that in action. It's yours to keep, and that makes you that unique self that doesn't need any validation from the outside. You're just happy, and makes you look good. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I think the conversations definitely um, were very interesting,
Oh, thank
you
you.
know, in so many ways. Suddenly I'm thinking of how I brought up the thing of someone being adopted without ever knowing that side of your journey.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for having me today, Vandy.
yeah, thank you so much, Tamanna, and really wish you all the best in everything that you're creating. It's really, I'm looking good. Thank you, and
You take
have
care.
a good rest of the day. We've gone way over time. Thank you for
Yeah,
the extra time.
we have. We have a little bit. That's fine.
Take care, and maybe cross paths in town sometime.
Yes, yes, we will.
Thanks, Tamanna.
You take care. Thanks, Vandy.
I'll
Bye.